Let's talk about the new Terra Moon's Fall Equinox 2023 eyeshadow collection, which consists of 14 new shades, and I had to receive all the shades from Terra Moon. So thank you so much, Terra Moons, for sending these over. There's some varying textures as well as some new textures, and I think you will be able to tell from these live swatches which shades might be a little flaky and which ones are a little bit more smooth. So first, let's get right into the swatch comparisons, and then I'll be creating 2 looks, and then at the end of the video, I'll give you some of my thoughts. I'm going to be pairing the eyeshadows with the Hindash palette, the Beaute and Monochromance. I totally forgot what that one was called. First going into Heartthrob right in the crease and a little bit onto the outer corner as well, just whatever's left over on my brush. And I'm going to take Throb on the outer corner. And these are buildable kind of mats. So just kind of taking a little bit by a little bit. I'm going to deepen that up even more. But first I'm just putting it down. And I'm going to take a little bit of Alter and take it on the edges of that to help blend that out. I switched to the Beaute palette and I'm going in with Intra. And I'm just deepening it up closest to my lash line. Just a little bit here. And just packing it on. Next I'm taking Fairnay Pixie Epoxy. And I'm just going to tap it out. Picked up Jupiter's Embrace and I'm going to pop that onto the center of my lid and onto the outer corner. I feel like this shade is not as red as I was expecting it to be. I feel like it looks a lot more red in camera than it does in real life. It's kind of like a softer red. Then I'm taking Astral Projection onto the inner portion of my lid and I'm just going to be blending it in to the other shade and up into my crease. And these are both super smooth. They're not like the shiniest, but they're a really nice, smooth formula, super easy to use. Here's the first finished look. For the second look, I'm going in with Match from the Monochromance palette. Ideally, I think I would use a grungy green shade, But this palette doesn't have that. And then I'm going in with Made. And I'm just going to put it on the outer corner and then bring it in. But I do feel like this is still giving off those like grungy vibes. And I'm going to bring it just a little bit underneath my lower lash line. Putting on the Fairly Pixie Epoxy again. And just kind of tapping it out, spreading it on my lid. I picked up Super Tuminous. Tuminous? It's really hard to read. It's extremely condensed. I think this needs to be kerned a bit better because it's almost illegible, at least in my opinion. And then I'm going to pop that right onto the outer portion. So this one is sparkly. And the next shade I'm going to use, it's kind of similar to this one, but it is very smooth. So I'm just gonna be popping that in and kind of feathering out the edges with the side of this brush. And then I'm going in with Spiral Galaxy. And you'll see this one is just so smooth. Yeah, they look very similar on the lid. Like they're almost the same. I feel like I can't really tell much of a difference. Besides, I can see more pinky sparkles on the outer portion where I put the other shade. But I would definitely say just pick up one. And I did get a bit of fallout, especially with the other shade. Here's the second finished look. So I definitely have some favorites and some not so favorites. I think overall I was a little bit disappointed in Jupiter's Embrace and Ruby's Satellite. I honestly thought from their swatches there would be a lot more red or like true to red, specifically Jupiter's Embrace. And while it is definitely got a red to it, it is not a true red like Leon. Leon is still the most shiny and red metallic out there. Also, the shift in Jupiter's Embrace and Ruby's Satellite is very, very subtle. Ruby Satellite does have a different texture for Terra Moons. It is actually kind of squishy in the pan, which definitely concerns me, which they did resend the shade to me, and it is still a little bit squishy. It's supposed to be a bit different from the other shade. As you may know, I have hooded oily lids, so this kind of formula just will not work for me. It is very heavily black based, and because of the squishy texture, I think it really dulls out the shift in it and really brings out the black base, especially seen in the swatches. This one is definitely a stainer, so if you don't like staining eyeshadows, something to keep in mind. Alien Code is a very unique, really beautiful grungy shade, but again, it does have a little bit of a darker base to it. Orion's Odyssey is super, super sparkly, really, really beautiful, still smooth, but sparkly. I think my favorites from this collection are definitely Winter Star. It is just so shiny and metallic, but it is flaky and it is a little bit harder to spread out. I also love Midnight Starlight, and I love Astral Projection because of how smooth it is. And Super Tuminous is also really, really stunning. And Hourglass Nebula really shocked because when I first saw it and I swatched it, I was like, oh, I definitely have shades like this, but I really don't. It is very unique to my collection. I would say it's basically like Frozen Waves or Cephalopod from the Clionadh Hidden Treasures palette, except it has a very, very reddish brown base to it. Spiral Galaxy is also another good one, and Otherworldly is also very interestingly unique to my collection. If you love purples, then you'll definitely love Stellar Siren. It is a very interesting tone of purple. Again, pretty unique to my collection. Moonlight Mystique is a very typical Terra Moons, very smooth, very beautiful. Not the shiniest, not the sparkliest, but definitely a step up from a satin kind of shimmer shade. And then lastly, Hypernova. I think I have a lot of shades that are very similar to this, also from Terra Moons. So I would say if you have any of the shades that you saw in the comparison, I honestly don't think you would need that one. So those are kind of my standouts to me, as well as some recommendations. But of course, it really comes down to what your color eyeshadow preferences. I think Terra Moons always comes out with some really interesting multi-chrome mixtures and different shades. And that's everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.